King's Casino, deep in the heart of the Czech Republic. These players don't care about that because they're on the feature table of the warm-up, playing for 230,000.
Yeah, it would be a very nice warm-up.
It certainly would.
I have to say, Simon, I remember I saw you as registration was drawing to a close. We're drawing to a close. We were 4 hours from the end of registration this event, and there was some panic on the number of players. It looked like you were on for a big overlay, but
certainly did.
Somehow they just appear in Rosvedov. Just squeezing over the 400 player mark.
I like this bet from Nino. Has a gut shot, of course. Lars was to improve. He's winning currently with king high. If he hits his king on the turn, it will give Nino the straight.
Also, obviously, with the backdoor diamonds there for Lars. And that is a draw that has become live.
Which means both players will remain interested in this hand.
Nino, obviously, with the decision here. He's betting to try and make Lars fold a jack. I don't think he ever believes he can make Lars fold an ace, but having picked up what he perceives as equity with the 10 of diamonds, yeah, it feels like a pretty good spot to continue.
It's amazing how different this is to some of the high-limit cash games that we were commentating on, where there was a bit of banter.
Yeah, it's serious business here, but Lars going for the check raise. Obviously, he blocks a lot of... well, he blocks the nut flush, but there aren't that many combinations of hands Nino will bet the turn with and want to continue. If he has an ace, he's likely to maybe check it back, and if he does bet it, it's really tough for him to call a check raise. So a nice play from Lars there. Also, we can see it the best hand, but
set, as always, looking magnificent here at King's Casino in Rosvedov.
Unlucky. Und du hast da schon wieder Nacktflasche am Turn? Ich hatte aber den König.
So the players chatting about that hand there. It was the two big stacks going at it. I can see some fun dynamics between him and Gerald forming as the day goes on. Ashcan.
Ashcan with a hand where he has both options open to him.
Yeah, he's only 6 big blinds back. He's got one in the pot. And these two are obviously going to be pretty active. I think that's the right decision. Yeah,
and the two players that he's doing this to, one with 46 million, one with 26 million.
And any raise forces Nino to either commit to the pot or fold, given Gerald's stack size. And he does raise to 8 million. Nino quickly lays it down.
Yeah, good play there. So Gerald with his king 9, he has 2 live cards against Ashcan's ace 6. Yeah, no improvement on the river, and Ashcan doubles up.
Yeah, up to 10 million, and Gerald has lost his early gains from the start of the day. He's exactly where he was at the start of the day, but he had won a couple of pots.
Certainly doesn't look like a young man under pressure, does he?
No. There's a and the gun folds. Cool. Gerald, ace-king suited. I think all the hands are one side of the table. Yeah. Have to have a word with the dealer. We'll raise it up. Of course, just got caught raising and re-raising with king 9 pre-flop. Plays into the player's mind somewhat.
Ashcan won't be interested in that hand. What about Lander? Oh, Lander will be. And we could see a big pot here.
Yeah,
he only has 13 million.
Yeah, I imagine he's going to jam here with 22 big blinds. And Gerald will quickly call. These are the spots you dream for. You see someone being so active, raising into your blind. You find a hand like 10s. It just feels so gross when you find yourself in a flip.
Mm. All in. There it is.
here
Quick
is
call, I hope, from Gerald with his ace king. Yep. So, first flip of this feature table. Ace king of spades versus pocket tens.
Yeah, it's a very nice set here.
Yep. King for Gerald. So, Lander is going to need to improve now.
Oh, another king doesn't actually change anything. Lander can still hit a 10 to double up. He does not, and he bodes to the rest of the table goodwill. Gerald then up to 38 million, a small setback the last hand, but quickly recruits and then some.
500 half empty or
And starts up again. Nino on the gun, another hand.
600. Because it's 8 months.
but we have 500.
$5, 8 months.
It's half empty.
Half empty or
Yesterday was half empty.
Floor man?
And the player's just trying to find out what the ante should be. The button ante concept is in play at the partypoker Millions. So instead of each player anteing, the button puts in the ante for the entire table. This makes the game a bit quicker and stops those annoying arguments over who hasn't anteed. The only change in it comes that it's one big blind each hand until the players are down to 5 players on a table when it becomes one small blind as an ante.
3,800,000.
Yes, Ghost, that is quite correct. The commentators, we are seeing the action at the same time you are. And it looks like Gerald's opting for a size around 8.5 million. Lars gets out the way. I'm sure Nino will do the same. And
8,800,000.
Isildur caught with his hands in the cookie jar. Isildur hasn't folded just yet. But he does.
7 plus.
And as I said earlier, we are now down to the last 16. Well, here we go. That's what Manning's been waiting for. Daniel, 10s, raises to 1.6 million. Manning now with 30 big blinds, 29. And a pair of queens. We'll raise it up. 5 million, just over 3x.
8, 9 plus.
Unfortunate spot for Daniel. Can't really see how he can do anything but jam over Manek's 3-bet. Although Manek's exceptionally capable of being light here. And of course, a lot of the hands Manek will 3-bet with and get it in are flips. So even if Daniel does run into a hand, he's in okay shape. He has shoved. Manek check back its queens and calls. So great situation for Manek. 81% favourite to double up. And a very safe deuce 4-6 flop. 2 diamonds, both players with a diamond. Turn is an 8, so a 10 and a 10 only. Otherwise Manek will double up. And here's the jack of spades. So for the second time, Manek has doubled through Daniel.
Is it 4 stacks or 3 stacks of blues?
It's
It's
market?
okay.
Okay, I change deck. 7 plus.
Yeah, I couldn't see the 1 stack of blues, that's it.
8 raise.
Hey, Sam.
1,500,000.
And these two
9 plus.
tussling.
2 plus. 3 plus.
It's always like this. When you get short, you get no hands. When you get
Long tank here deciding what to do. Board Queen Jack 10, 9, 8, 3 diamonds.
Yeah, also that.
Μας λένε να μην κοιτάμε το τέτοιο στο τραπέζι.
Always an interesting spot when the board is a straight. Potential to go higher.
Ναι, με μισή ώρα καθυστέρηση.
Flush possible.
Change deck, prosím. Blue cards.
And it looks like a sizable bet coming in here. Wow. Looks like around 15 million.
Okay, it's market. The last one should be market.
He's actually closer to 17 million. Huge bet. Give Nino plenty to think about.
Call.
He does call. And does in fact lose. So a huge pot there on an outer table. And it looks like 7 deuce of diamonds is the winning hand. Marek, Daniel, Isildur, Milad, all now under 15 big blind. It's a tough spot. I'm sure if he knew Milad was raising with hands like Queen 10, he would jam. But there's no way to know that. And he has 3-bet jammed. Patrick, King Jack suited. Fortunately for him, he can't really proceed.
5, 6.
Folds to Manic with aces in the small blind. This is the Manic show.
9.3. 9.9.3. 9.8.
Obviously asking for a count, trying to make himself a little bit weaker. To Milad, who is still in the spot. And of course Lars in the big blind.
8-3? No, that's not right, I don't think.
We of course know
5, 5.5.
Manic is dancing inside that head of his.
9, 9.3, yeah. 9,300,000.
Alex to flat with Lars behind. Hoping Lars might find something you want to jam and squeeze Magnat with. Marek will not get the bad news. 5-5-8 flop. Unbelievable. Marek has taken the lead, reducing Manic to just 1 out. Turn is the king of clubs, and only the ace of clubs will see Manic win this pot. Otherwise, Marek will double up. And it is an 8. Unfortunate for Manic, but he has had a nice run of cards up until now.
9, 8, 15.
Milad, of course, shoving with 12 big blinds. Patrick with about 23. And he does re-raise all in. The rest of the players getting out of the way. Zero folds. Milad, upset to see us against Ace King. And the flop has come Jack 10-5, so Milad's gone from rooting for a queen to a king. King will give Patrick a pair, but Milad Broadway. Turn is an ace, changes nothing. Only a king. Is the 4 of clubs, and we lose Milad. So he is our 16th play finisher. Will receive 11,000 euros in prize money. And has the option to jump straight into the main event, which has begun. He decides to fold. His order 5-4 suited folds. Marek, the big blind with his newfound gains. Does cool. Heads up to the flop. 4.6 million in the pot. And Marek flops top pair. And he checks it over to the pre-flop raiser and Lars.
Bet 1.6.
Does continuation bet. Marek having a little think before electing to call. turn is as bricky as they get. The deuce of clubs completes the rainbow board. Action on Marek, who again checks it over to our Chip Lars. With a decision now. He elects to check. Obviously, if he believes he's the best hand, maybe putting Marek on a straight draw of some sort. May well have bet. But given he has 8 of diamonds, it blocks quite a few of those combinations. I think a wise check back there with the ace-8 high. Marek more likely to have pairs than draws. Now Marek with the decision of whether to value bet himself or allow Lars to either value bet a weak hand or bluff with no hand. Marek will feel very confident he has the best hand for now. It looks like he's lining up a sizable bet. He does bet 4.1 million. Just over half pot. Lars quickly folds. Isolde on the button. Ace 10 offsuit. 13 big blinds. He will move all in. Marek, no hand in the small blind. Way up to Patrick, who does insta-call, ace-king. So Isolde at risk. He will need a 10. 5, deuce, 3 flop. Gives Isolde some chop-outs. Any 4. Turn a queen. So he will need a 10 to win or a 4 for the chop. Otherwise, we will lose Isolde in 15th place. And it pairs the 3. That is the end of Isolde. Patrick up to 43 million in chips. Isolde out in 15th. Will pick up 11,000 euros for his effort, and I'm sure he will jump straight over into the main event. It looks like a 3-bet. Oh, welcome to the table. Come over here with your big stack. Try and steal our blinds. And we can see there Michael with Jack 10 suited. Marek does actually have a hand in kings, and it spells bad news for Patrick. He has ace-king in the small blind. So here goes Patrick. Does elect to go for the smaller 4-bet to 14 million. Action will fold around, so Michael will quickly get out the way. And Marek cannot believe his luck.
13.9.
And Marek does move all in. Patrick finds out the bad news. 42 million chip pot. Patrick will need an ace. Flop 4, 6, 8. No good for Patrick. Marek will be feeling very pleased. Patrick needing an ace, or perhaps a running straight for trop. Turn is a jack. Patrick reduces just an ace. River's a deuce. Marek doubles up and is now firmly in the game. And I am delighted to announce that Michael Zhang has joined me in the commentary booth after winning yesterday's super high roller. How are you feeling, Michael?
I'm feeling great.
Yeah, I imagine
it's going
good for you when you wake up and you see 100,000 euros richer.
Sure.
And I don't know if you've played with Michael much or at all, any of these players?
I don't think. I played with Manning a few times.
I imagine you've played with Manic. And he finds kings, pops it up.
It's a good spot when you've been opening pretty wide on the table and then...
Yeah, he's just come to the table and opened the first hand and opened a couple of others, so nice for him.
This is one of those traps everyone finds himself in when he's opened a few hands, he's quite aggressive, and then all of a sudden he's opening more and more. They have a hand the last time.
So Manic here with about 40 big blinds.
I'd imagine given ICM considerations he's probably going to flat, but I would expect him to 3-bet a decent amount of the time because...
7 call.
And he looks like he has called.
I think he's thinking he doesn't want to 3-bet, 5-bet. If he 3-bets, he's committed to a 5-bet. He would much rather 3-bet fold like ace-jack off or ace-10 off, and like maybe ace-6 to ace-9 suit, ace-2 to ace-9 suited.
Right. So Manig obviously realizing that this hand would be too good to not jam if he were to get 4-bet, and I guess not wanting to play a guessing game at this stage of the tournament. I guess preying on the fact that Manig would 3-bet his best hands right against Michael's open.
I do really like this 3-bet actually. Given his stack size, it's very difficult to have as many bluffs. This is a kind of a play that people always misinterpret ranges.
7 million.
He's 3-bet from the big blind out of a short stack, fairly deep in the tournament. Everyone just assumes they're going to be linear. But if you add just some of these ace-X offsuit bluffs, you're going to absolutely crush some people, because some people just always think you'll have it. Like here, you'd probably get Michael Maracus is probably opening like 30%, and he'd probably fold ace-jack suited, which is like top 8%. So he's folding like 75% of the time, and Manig's folding 100% of the time almost.
I'm not sure, to be honest.
Unfortunately for him,
yeah,
it looks bad in this situation, but yeah, it's fascinating.
Yeah, range-wise, not hand-wise.
Obviously, Michael trying to find out how much Manig has behind before proceeding. And you'd expect Michael to raise here or flat, I guess, is still an option.
Given the stack to pot ratio, I think he's always going to jam, given he's got 15 million behind.
Right.
If he had maybe 25 million, he would consider it, but I think he would still jam, because his perceived 4-bet jamming range is fairly wide, so he's expecting like jacks, 10s, queens to call, for sure, and maybe even ace-queen suited.
And sure enough, he does move all in. A little decision for Manig, but he will fold. Angela quickly folds. And that's a nice pot to finish on with. Looks like quickly out on the outer table, we have an all-in situation. Christopher looks like at risk, maybe with ace-10. Ace-8, sorry. He has hit an 8. He's up against ace-king, but there is also a king on the board. He does have the ace of diamonds, and the turn is a diamond, so he will win this pot. A fortunate double up there. Looks like he had about 9 million chips. And I believe that's Alexander, who was the poor victim of his ace-king getting cracked, leaving him relatively short.
9,300,000. Yeah.
Daniel, 8.6 blinds. Queen 10, electing to move all in. Manig, ace-6. Tough spot with so many players behind. Wiles folds, G folds, getting up to the blinds. Michael with pocket fours.
To call?
He does call. Marek, ace-5 off behind. He folds, so Daniel will be relieved to find out he's in a flip. A flop, king, king, 7. No help for Daniel just yet, but he does pick up 3 outs with a 7, which he has hit. So, as things stand, Michael needs to hit a 4, an ace for a chop. River comes a 5. Daniel doubles up with queen high. A little bit of thinking time. Continuation bets. And Nino check raises all in by the looks of it.
13.6.
13.6 million, he says. Gerald now with the decision.
13,600,000.
And he does indeed make the call. Doesn't like what he sees.
you please pull the cards in?
And you can see that Gerald has ace jack, sorry, with the ace of clubs. Nino top pair with queen 9 of clubs. Turn is a 3, so Gerald will need an ace or a king, otherwise he will double Nino up. River 7 of clubs. Nino doubles up. Marek king queen suited. Daniel pocket 10s. 43 million chip pot. And a 10 in the window. Some good news for Marek. 9 pops out behind it, leaving him with a gut shot. Any jack will do it. And a 9 will end this hand. Daniel improving to a full house. So a double up for him. Looks like we have another all-in on the outer table. Andre at risk by the looks of it. And again against Gerald, I believe. Oh no, maybe not. Maybe against Nino. And it's like kings against 7s. Andre takes no time in hitting a king. And that will end that hand. So yet again, another all-in with a short stack survives. Interestingly, both players improve to a flush.
No problem.
We have big level for some of these
9
players, with 4 of them 20 bigs or under.
2 pass.
7-handed play.
4 pass.
Daniel
5
pocket
pass.
jacks on the button. One of the biggest stacks, 50 million in chips.
Raise 2,700,000.
Does raise it up, and yet again Manic finds queens behind him. Yet more bad news. Manic, of course, now only playing just over 20 bigs. Trying to work out the best way to get value with his queens. He knows Daniel will expect him to jam with a lot of hands from the small blind when he just button raises. Certainly, if he knew Daniel's hand, he'd just jam here fairly quickly.
All in.
Sure enough, he does move all in. Daniel will snap call when it gets back to him.
Cool.
And you yet again see the bad news. His reaction can't seem to get Manic, but it's not over yet.
At deuces, like when he opened right, he called.
For Jack in the window, Jack 8 deuce. Daniel takes commanding lead in this pot. Manic down to just the 2 outs. Turn 5. No good for Manic. He will need a queen or he will be our 14th place finisher. And there it is, the 6 of clubs. Unlucky for Manic. Up and down day. Lost all improved flop with the aces, of course, against ace 5. Eventually, queens against jacks. Tough decision. Not just thinking, does he have the best hand, but does he want to risk it all? And he does make the call. So we have a 3-way all-in on the outer table. Christopher with pocket 6s makes the call. Looks like Ashkan has king queen and Alexander ace jack. So he is in the lead with his pocket 6s, but there are 4 overcards to his hand. If he were to hold, it would be a double elimination. All good so far. 5-3 deuce flop. He does pick up a gut shot. So he will only lose his pot if it comes ace, king, queen, or jack. Turn is a 4. Gives him the straight. He will win this pot now unless a 6 rolls off to make a 3-way chop. It does not, and that is a double elimination. So we've had a number of double ups, and then in the space of 2 hands, we lose 3 players. These two busting out in 13th and 12th. They'll work out who had more chips. I believe it was Alexander, who will therefore get 16.5, whilst Ashkan picks up 13.75 thousand for his efforts. And again, I'm sure these guys will jump straight over to the main event. So, quick as a flash, 11 players left. Mikhail, ace, queen, under the gun. He is our table chip leader. Well, quickly looking back on the outer table, we have jacks versus queens. Just like Manic's exit. Jacks, spike again. And looks like that's Andre out in 11th. Gerald picking that one up. Very unlucky there.
Nine check.
So Angelou call with 8-5 from the big blind after Michael raised. Flop jack 9-5. Angelou has taken the lead. Let's check this flop.
Go back to 1,700,000.
Michael, continuation bets 1.7 million. Angelou in a very tough spot here with bottom pair.
All in.
He decides to check raise all in. And it works. Michael folds.
So I'm leaving.
The unusual play there.
Or you're leaving again? Back and forth.
It is Michael all in with king queen. Anthony at risk with ace 8. King in the window. King 7 deuce. Unless Anthony finds an ace, he will be the 10th place finisher. Turn is a 5, an ace and an ace only. And it is a 10. Michael knocks Anthony out, and that is our final 9 set. Anthony receives 16.5 thousand euros for his efforts. Party Poker Live, Millions Germany warm-up event, €2,500 buy-in. And we'll raise it up, 2.4. The two of the biggest stacks. He will just smooth call. Heads up to the flop. 6.6 million already in there. And a lovely looking flop for Daniel. Queen 10-3 rainbow. See bets 2.1 million. And Michael will call. Turn card 7 brings a backdoor diamond draw.
Take up your calculator quick. Can you take up your calculator on your phone, please? Because I think
check.
If you put these
River the 9 of diamonds. Michael improves to a pair.
just like, okay. I think it's like 25 or 30 million too much in play. It should be 406 and it's like 430, 435.
If you had this live, we had any suspicion.
Daniel deciding whether to bet here or no. Is checked. Michael checks back. Daniel will scoop in the 11 million chip pot. Come in for a raise. 3.2 million. Marek, ace king in the small blind, and he's been waiting for. Taking his time. There it is. And Michael waking up behind, also with ace king.
All in.
He does move all in. Christopher will get out the way, and we will be on our way to a chop. Michael is free rolling, but it is a spade on the turn, and that'll be the end of that. Way to Marek and the cutoff. Carl on the button, putting pressure on the two short stacks to his left by moving all in. Angelou and Patrick. Patrick finds ace queen. He will not be going anywhere. So Patrick at risk for his tournament life. Flop king 7-4. No help from Michael. Patrick firmly in the lead. Turn 8. Michael improves to a gut shot. Wanted a jack 10 or 9, or Patrick will double up. And the river is a queen. All good for Patrick. 31 million chips now. Around to Daniel. Ace 9 suited. 3.1. Lars, pocket jacks. He's been very patient. Has been rewarded. Sure enough, he does move all in. Of course, it's worth noting there are still 3 players behind him as well. So Angelo, he does fold. Angelo on the button folds. Patrick from the small blind also folds, and Nino king 5. Just Daniel with the decision now. And he does fold. Lars picking up a nice little pot. And he does move all in.
7 all in. 8 pass.
Fold round. If no one else picks up a hand, I'm sure Michael will have to shrug and call with his pair of 6s for a 9 big blind shove.
2 pass. 3 pass.
14.
Pass.
Sure enough, it does fold round, and Michael will call. So off to the races. Angelou will need to improve if he wants to remain in this tournament. Angelou does have the queen of diamonds, as he says, not too bad a flop. Turn is the 8 of spades. And there it is, the 8 repeats. Angelou is out in 9th place. Unlucky there to find ace queen and not be in maybe slightly better shape pre-flop. And a big pick up for Michael, getting himself to 100 million in chips. Action working its way around. Here is Nino, pair of 9s. Certainly good enough. Especially with 13 big blinds. Given the ICM consideration, you'd expect to shove here.
All in. All in.
All in.
And sure enough, he does. The reason I say that, in a normal situation, he might want to raise, have someone re-raise all in and get some more action with his nines. But with the payouts the way they are, best to just protect your equity, keep yourself in the tournament, wait for other short stacks to bust out. Well, unlucky for him, Lars has woken up with a pair of kings behind. And Nino is in big trouble.
21. 21.
You're wearing sunglasses, so I'm not sure who you're talking at. Just this one.
It's just getting a chip count. Again, just doing this so the big blind might think he's a little bit weaker than he is. And there's Marek. He moves all in. And Marek, we can see, unfortunately for Nino, folding one of the nines. So, Queen 7-5, 2 hearts. Nino picks up a backdoor straight draw, some hope. Unfortunately for Nino, the jack is no use. Just the 9 will save him. Queen of clubs. No use for Nino. He will leave us in 8th place. He will get 25,000 euros for his efforts. And case in point there, he lasted just one hand more than Angelou, but it was worth 5,000 euros. It's always nice to think, Simon, that a small blind was a starting stack.
Yeah.
Someone's whole dream. And so Christopher, 13 big blinds, ace queen suited. Expect him, again, as discussed earlier, with ICM considerations, not necessarily wanting to invite action.
Mullen.
Will be shoving.
Daniel with an easy decision.
And wow,
Oh dear.
terrible timing, so unfortunate. Mikkel sat there behind with the aces on the button. Obviously asking for a count, not for the purpose of winding up Christopher, but 2 players behind. And make out it's not an easy shove.
Go.
26-1. 6 go.
That's cool. Patrick is out of the way. And Gerald, King 10, easy fold.
Oh, sorry. 1 pass.
And we will see. Christopher will find out what bad shape he's in. He's going to need to catch some queens, some clubs, or Broadway, Simon.
Look at this. It's fantastic, isn't it? The top of there, it shows the all-in and the 2 players.
It's remarkable how quick they get it up there.
The player on that table is hoping that the aces are going to stand up.
And so far, so good. Christopher down to just 2% equity. And unfortunately for Christopher, that is the card that will see him out the door. He will win 32,000 euros for a 7th place finish. And we see there Mikkel further solidifying a position. Just short of 125 million chips.
Raise. 4 million.
So Daniel will raise it up. Marek in the big blind, Jack 10. Playing 17 big blinds, and one of them already in the pot.
Go.
And he does call. Heads up to the flop. You see with the blinds so high now, there's already 11 million in this pot. Wow, great pot for Marek. 8, 9, deuce, 2 hearts. He has Jack 10 for an open-ender, 2 overcards, and even a backdoor flush draw. Daniel still has the best hammer king high, but only 51% equity.
Okay.
3 check.
And checks it back. Now, kind of an awkward spot. He's going to end up betting into a real hand.
You haven't started yet, don't worry. So railing means drinking.
11 million in the pot.
5 bet.
He elects to bet 6 million.
6 million.
Yeah, I had a look at it like, hello.
Daniel, in a lovely position.
No, I got
Cool,
aces
allow
as well,
Marek
and, like,
to
everybody
keep bluffing
folds.
rivers.
I think it's it.
Has pretty much the best hand he can have here, other than aces.
I had sixes into ace queen as well. I want
Sorry, other than ace king. Excuse me. River, no help for Marek. He has a pot-sized bet back.
Okay, on this flop, I would.
He's got to try and piece together where he thinks Daniel has a king or hand with worse showdown value. Smaller bet might look suspicious. Looks like he is lining up a small bet.
3 bet.
7.5 million. Of course, Marek has to let that one go. Daniel back up to 86 million. He's just limping in, trying to look as weak as possible. And it's going to work, although raising would have worked and jamming would have worked. Mikkel will pounce on this.
6
All in,
and
snap
5
call.
fold. Showdown, please.
And whatever happened here, these chips were going in. So Marek at risk, ace-king against the dominated king-queen and Mikkel. 58 million pot. The pre-handshake silent. Jack 7-3, no help for Mikkel. We'll need a queen or a running straight. Turn the ace. Marek improves a pair of aces. Mikkel will need a 10 now for Broadway. Otherwise, Marek will double up to 58 million.
To by było fakt přísný, strašně. Jsem smístá.
And too little, too late. Mikkel finally hit his queen, but only after Marek hit the ace. So, Marek back into the mix, 60 million.
Daniel under the gun, ace 7 suited. 70 million chips, 35 bigs. Surprisingly tight fold from him as well.
Yeah, I think to be expected, the way the chip situation's just changed. All 6 of them a lot closer in stacks now. So even for these, I mean more so for these guys now, everyone taking ICM into consideration. Patrick limping a 9-7 from the small. Gerald 6-3 suited. Just about our joint chip leader. He's taking a long time. Eventually finds the check.
Full check. Hands up.
Eight, 5 king flop. Patrick a gut shot. Gerald backdoor flush draw. Patrick's 2.5 million bet, likely to win this one.
Even I know he wouldn't do it. But
he has decided to float.
Limping the monster, but floating blind skin.
Turns queen. But he doesn't give up. Keeps firing. 8 million to 11 million pot. Eventually folds. Irish will be happy with this one. Patrick climbing up to 45 million. Just doubled up.
Just call. You're more than 60, right?
We call?
Yeah. 55, 60.
Lars 10 deuce offsuit. Leave these guys to it.
Pass. Hands up.
Flop 3-4-5. Daniel 2 overs and a gut shot, but Marek stays in the lead with a pair of 9s.
Yeah, Marek should bet here and usually takes the pot.
3 check.
Right, it's the kind of flop when Daniel's called from the small blind, he can't have hit that too often, right?
Yeah, he can float here because he has gut shot and overs, but he doesn't have any backdoors, flush draws, and the ranges on the final table not that wide, so I think the better decision is to call.
4 million.
Good insight there. Marek bets. 4 million into 13.
But the bet is small.
So obviously a bet that size, Daniel feels he has to take one off, right? 2 overs and a gut shot.
Yeah, he could have called here. Bingo.
And he does hit. And unbeknownst to him, Marek actually has a hand, but Daniel would obviously perceive this as his card Marek would bluff a lot, right? So he could play this to check call.
That would be check, 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 check.
But if now Marek has 9s, but if he had maybe say King Jack or whatever, he'd obviously likely to fire on this turn.
He could have second barrel, but usually Daniel has some good equity here, so he couldn't fold like 2 times.
Well, the river completes a backdoor flush draw.
3 check.
He does. Marek quickly checks back, and Daniel will pick up this pot. 21 million chips in it.
I guess this board he could bet bigger on the flop.
Yeah, right. Probably a mistake there with his bet sizing.
It's not really a mistake, but with this dip, he can bet 1.
Maybe with a pair of 5s on the button. Daniel opening up 28 big blinds.
You can just fold.
But does indeed fold. An awkward spot to play.
94. 94 million.
Here comes the 3 bet. 17.5 million. Anatoly.
Hold on.
Call. Snap, snap, snap. Come on. Don't think.
Grudgingly getting it in. So these 2 players will play the biggest top that we have seen of the tournament so far. 148 million chips in this pot.
Now we will find out the new chiplets.
So the flop.
Queen 10-8.
3-4-10, all spades. No hit for Daniel. Gerald will be very happy with that flop.
Looks like chop pot, right?
Of course, it would be a chop flop with running chopped pot, even with running spades.
Chopping was good.
Daniel would take that right now.
He said chopping is good, right?
He did. Here's the deuce. Here's Daniel. A few more outs. 5 for the wheel. Ace or a king, or he will be out in 6th place.
This trick is forbidden to stand up.
You're standing up. That means that should be banned, right?
That should
put
be
the
banned.
coat on, pick up the bag.
Exactly.
He has stood. Will it work?
Boom.
No, the river is a 6. Unlucky for Daniel. He is eliminated in 6th place. He will pick up 42,000 euros for his efforts.
Easy daisy.
Easy daisy.
5.5.
That can be an all-in.
Miles with a decision.
Sit it. Chip later. He's opening very wide.
Yep, 15 bigs in the small blind.
It's a good hand, but it's final tables.
And he has moved all in.
All in.
He decided to do it. I like it actually. I think it's plus EV.
Can you give me 1 gift?
Does make the call. So Gerald
That
in
was
another
pretty
big pot.
fast call, actually.
Flop, ace, 10, 6. Lars hits the front, but Gerald does have 2 overs and a gut shot. Double up. Turn 4. Changes nothing. Gerald still needing to see some paint. The river. It is a king. It is a king. Gerald hits the river. Lars is our 5th place finisher, and he will pick up 54,000 euros for those efforts.
I think
Sorry,
I
it's frozen button, small blind, big blind.
So the thing about folding is that when you fold, there's collision effects. Two of the medium stacks will often collide against each other. So
2 pass.
Right, so there aren't many pots they can fight over, right?
yeah, the 12 big blind stack will basically always
5 pass.
go in pretty often, and then they will call when they have a pretty good hand.
And 6 call. Showdown, please.
And straight away. Break.
Seems like an aggressive shove.
And no flop for Patrick, down to 2% equity. Michael all but got this one wrapped up. And the turn is an 8. That will see Patrick bust out in 4th. And I think we just heard him saying there he cannot complain. He's done well, short stack all the way through this final table and managed to ladder himself up to 69,000 euros. Pretty good prep for the main event tomorrow.
Je tady vůbec povolený díl nějaký?
Good score for him.
Good score for anyone apart from Plano.
No,
69,000 euros is a bad week for this man.
I'd be very happy to catch 69,000. It's a great score.
And figures that one out. It's a good fold. Marek, Queen Jack off in the big. 25 big blinds.
Shouldn't be a very big mistake.
And plays well enough post flop, right?
Yeah.
5 call.
It does. Obviously, 3-handed. Every pot significant. 16 million already in the pot here. 6, 3, deuce.
Pretty good flop for the big blind to lead out on. Like we said, Mikal isn't raised any 6x, 2x, 3x, 4-5. He's not going to raise. You put pressure on just king 10 offs, ace highs. You have 4-5 suited. You have 6-3 suited. Those kind of hands. 6x. So leading here is a good option.
Interesting as you say that. We haven't actually seen anyone lead from the blind after peeling, and we have seen a lot of single raise pots with the opener and the big blind. So Michael, very small bet.
Queen Jack's just going to fold.
Interesting, deciding to take one off. See, sounds like you're not too much of a fan of that play.
No.
5 check.
This is a scary board to bluff on for the big blind. For the button, sorry. Big blind's going to have all ace-x that he calls the flop with, which he calls pre-flop. He's going to have some flush draws, which he'll continue with. He's going to have some 6x, slow played hands. So it's pretty scary.
Well, it looks like he's lining for another really small bet.
4.8.
4.8 into a 25 million chip pot. This is a case of he just doesn't think he'll ever get bluffed, so he can.
Well, big blind should have a lot of bluffs on the river. He's going to have all like king 5 of diamonds, king 4 of diamonds. He's going to have 9 of 5 of spades. Like he's going to have a bunch of good shots. He's calling queen jack on the flop. I don't imagine he's going to have a good shot with most likely live cards. So it's just turn card to check back on. You can't get 3 streets yourself. Maybe you get check shoved on, which sucks.
Well, we're both a bit flummoxed as to what's going on here.
They both check, so maybe they have some history, I guess, if they're both very good players.
Interesting. River 5, as you were just saying, there are some ways that could help Marek, I guess.
Miko hits this river for sure, especially if the jack of clubs in his hand. It's less likely the guy has jack 9 of clubs or jack 8 of clubs or something.
It's just a card, the way Marek's played, he has to lead out on.
I haven't really run this line of the game tree, getting to hear of these particular ranges and lines, so I couldn't really comment accurately. So.
Certainly looks like he is. What about the bet size? Looks like under half pot. Or close to half pot. Michael in pretty tough spot here, right?
14.8.
Yeah.
He's up again. He could be up against a lot of 2 pairs.
Yeah. But also, maybe he would check also if he has 2 pair, like try to induce a flush draw, an ace to value bet again or whatever, or just king queen to barrel off. So if he got 3 bets, Gerald can call hands like 9-8 seated, and you don't want this at this stage of the tournament, you're happy to take down the pot. So yeah, I would definitely shove.
So we're very lucky to be getting Patrick's insight here. Final table play, especially when you get in such huge ICM spots as these.
38.
He has elected just to re-raise small.
24.
34.
Well, not that small, sorry. He's made it 34 million with only 50 back, so effectively all in. I can't imagine Gerald thinks he has any fold equity.
Yeah.
What do you make of that?
Yeah, I mean, I know in like spin and go heroes and stuff like this goes on, and you're supposed to free bet half your stack, and then the other guy's supposed to call, and there's supposed to be like bet faults in the flop and stuff. So it is in the kind of game tree, but with ICM, it gets very messed up. I would probably try to just play solid, I guess.
Fascinating stuff.
Yeah, it heads up sync goes if you're 10 big blinds deep.
2 all in, 6
He
call.
has jammed,
wow.
and
That is
Michael has called.
that is an aggressive all in.
Yeah, that's surprising from what we've seen so far.
He only has oh no, he has 80.
The next one.
So the pot is 172 million. Huge pot.
Did they deal? No.
There's someone just asked that in the chat. And they definitely didn't have time to deal from what we've seen. Game check. Well, look at that. 10, 10, 5. Flops the house.
Running 10s.
Well, you can have the royal flush.
Yeah.
You see, despite being up against a house, he's he's going for the early handshake as well.
I'm not sure I'd go for it.
He's got the 2 handshakes to stand up. The only thing he's not done is taken the mic off.
Sorry, sure.
Refuse the handshake too.
Come on.
A bit too savvy. Oh, there is the king. He's picked up some outs.
10% is so.
Oh, he's made the mistake of sitting back down. King or 10.
It's time for the backpack, I think, at this point.
Now you're alive again. Back in business.
Exciting stuff here.
It's like 10%. Okay, less than that. 10%? Yeah.
Až 4 autě. To není tolik.
But sweating it hard.
Yeah.
We've all been
2 kingy, 2 desítky.
Yeah. 2 of them weren't happy to see a king on the turn. So now, time for the river. Here's the queen of diamonds. He actually improves the nut flush, but a little bit too late. Gerald will take that pot down, knock Michael out in 3rd place, and catapult up to 312 million chips. So a huge chip you're going to heads up. And of course, we lose Michael. Played great. Gets 92,850 euros for his efforts. Also, Dominici, obviously a highly successful player. This one, imagine, will be met with a 4-bet then.
20,500,000.
Yeah, he's gonna want to think when he has a hand like Ace 5 suited if he's gonna jam or not. So this jacket's going to be
all in.
Let's say.
It is an all in.
6.
Quick fold for Marek. Gerald moving further ahead towards the trophy.
Losing that 20 million is really costly. I imagine Gerald will call. It's definitely a playable hand. Dolly Parton.
And the Dolly Parton getting a good price. 3.5. Pot stands at 9.5. He does call.
Marek's praying for high cards. He hasn't won a pot yet, heads up. Out of 12 pots.
And a good flop for Marek. Gut shot for Gerald. Top pair king kicker. And it is the kind of flop where there's a lot of second best hands and or hands that might want to continue, right?
Yeah.
Plenty of gut shots and double gutters, open enders.
5-7s, Jack 9s, Jack 10s.
So good point there from Patrick. Good insights from the best in the business.
The Joey Barton of the poker world.
Well, someone recently called me the Phil Neville. Retired and into the booth.
I like it.
So he will finally pick up a pot. These players are playing for 90,000 euros difference. Second 140, first 230.
Good fold by Gerald. I think when you have 300 million chips, it's easy to just flick in a call there. So good credit to make a fold there, I think.
Wow. Gerald ace-king, Marek ace-7. This could spell disaster.
This is just all in. All in call. Raise all in call. Or maybe limp. If he wants to be tricky.
Yeah, we have seen him limp and raise. Electing for a raise this time, 6.5. And Marek, 21 big blinds and ace-7. It's hard to see anything but the all-in, as Patrick says. Instantly counting out chips.
With no antes, call-in wouldn't be terrible.
Is this a case of he has been getting bashed up, so he's more likely maybe, even if he was thinking sometimes he'll call just to go all in? And
Yeah. I mean, shoving is completely fine, especially with Gerald raising so often. It's fine.
And he has moved all in. He's at risk. Snap call from Gerald. Ace-king against ace-7. Marek in big trouble here. Gerald, 72% to win the tournament right here, right now.
Poor Marek. He's run pretty poorly. Gerald's had lots of good hands.
Well, it's not over yet.
7.
Ace-8 deuce. Well, terrible flop for Marek, as Gerald has the king of diamonds, reducing his outs to just the black 7s.
Running chops.
So you can see 6% equity.
Order a steak, get ready for the after party.
Here is 6 of spades. No how he is at least still drawing live. Gerald could have killed him off there with a diamond or a king.
It's close though.
It was close. He's hit the 8 and the 6. What's next?
Oh. I swear I
a
didn't
cruel
see that.
card. A red 7. The 1-7 he couldn't hit. Gerald, with that card, makes the nuts to win the tournament. Marek, a valiant effort. Congratulated there by some of Israel. Second place, no shame at all. 406 entries there were in this. An absolutely stacked last 2 tables. We had the likes of Isildur, Manigluza bust out just before the final. And then a final of pure poker players. Marek. Not much he could do there, heads up, right, Patrick? He just didn't have the best of the hands. Obviously, maybe a little bit gun-ho with a couple of his 3 bets.
Yeah, he came in with the aggressive approach. Probably good if he thinks that the guy's a high-stake professional. Just unfortunate to run into ace-king and ace-jack and other very strong hands.
Right, and of course, he will at least have the consolation of 140,000 euros. But we'll leave him and deal with the man of the moment. Gerald has won the Party Poker Millions Germany warm-up event. 230,000 euros in the trophy. I'm sure that celebrations soon to begin with Israel.